With sets like Prismatic Evolutions and Terrestrial Festival just hours away, and Prismatic a month and a half away, I think now's a great time for investors to look back at previous sets within this year and some of last year and really take a look at what is worth investing in right now. What's like the sneaky kind of set that has a lot of value to it, as in like the cards in the set, but isn't really performing well at a MSRP or like sealed product price standpoint. And I think Paldea Evolved is one of those sets where you have to look at it and be like, even though the price isn't like steady, like as we can see here, it's been on a bit of a roller coaster since September, going from low 140s to mid 130s, and then going from just fluctuating in between those two. And right now it's sitting at 142. I think that Paldea Evolved is going to be a fantastic long-term set, mainly because of the chase card, that being the Magikarp illustration rare with whoever the artist was. It's Shinji Kanda, that's it. Um the art from Shinji is absolutely fantastic, and I think that you can make a case for Paldea Evolved having fantastic long-term value because of that card specifically. And there's also other Pokemon like uh, Tyranitar and Raichu in the set that aren't exactly like the most popular Pokemon in the world, but people love those Pokemon more than they do others. Most others, actually. And just Paldea Evolved seems like that sleeper set right now that no one's really talking about. No one's really going out of their way to be like, oh my god, Paldea Evolved's like the next big thing, right? No one's really saying that right now. And I think that now's a great time to start buying into Paldea Evolved because it holds that much long-term value. The Magikarp is on a steady climb right now. If we take a look at it, it was 114 in September. 114 market value in September. And it wasn't really selling that great. It was like maybe getting over 10 sales every 2 days or whatever. With it reached an all-time low, or not all-time low. It reached a low of that price point in September, $104. But if we go to when the set released, we're looking at $55 when the set came out. And that's like, we've seen how this card's performing right now. We have a market value of $187 at the time of this video, which is absolutely ridiculous. And it went from 50 to 180 in about a year. A little bit less than a year. Since that was, what, December? Yeah, almost a year now. And it's collected this much long-term value. And it shot up just recently, right around October, September of this year. And it shot up to 180. And no one's really talking about it. No one's really going out of their way to mention, oh my god, Paldea Evolved and the Magikarp are doing numbers. Like, no one's really talking about it. And I think that the fact that no one's really talking about it is why people should absolutely go out of their way to invest in Paldea Evolved and get some booster boxes to hold for long term. Maybe like for a year and see how it does. But I absolutely love Paldea Evolved, and not really just because it's like a set no one really talks about, but because the set is cool. Like, the artwork in the set is really, really good. And it's just one of those sets where, like, oh, it's Paldea Evolved. Like, no one was really, like, excited for it when it came out. But if we're looking at the booster box price, it was going for $90 earlier this year in January. $90 a box, right? And now we're looking at $140 a box almost a year later. So even though that's not like a crazy, crazy price differential, it's enough to be like, okay, this could mean something in the long term. But I think because there's not really a crazy price jump in the last year, it's because it's still a new set. Technically, it's still Scarlet and Violet. Um, I'm not sure if it's being reprinted or not. I'm not sure if it got a reprint. Um, but it looks like the fluctuation in price might mean that some is getting pushed out and some is getting withheld because it's going to 130 then jumping back up to 140, and it's been consistently doing that since September. So, I mean, right now is kind of frisky. I did jump in and buy 2 boxes of it when it was at its low of the um last couple weeks. Like it was like 135 when I bought them. So, and I did buy them during the promotion. I did contribute to the 455 boxes that were sold on TCG Player, but I did get them for 135 a piece, and they did go up since I bought them. So it looks like the product is being bought up right now. So I think that if you want to be smart about Scarlet and Violet sets, as like an investing from an investing perspective, right? You want to get the sets that no one's really talking about, because if you don't get it now and it becomes the talk of the town later, you're like, oh, I could have listened. Oh, I could have been like, oh my god, I should have bought into the set. Oh, I didn't listen. But yeah, I mean that's kind of what some people were looking at, or some people were afraid of. But these boxes were going for $80 too. The low sale price was $81, which is kind of ridiculous. You could have bought 2 of these boxes for $20 over the price of one, which is pretty crazy. Um, I almost FOMO'd, or didn't FOMO, with Evolving Skies back in 2021. I'd bought in like 3 boxes of it, and I opened 2. I still have 1 box sealed, and it's in like a one of those plastic container things, sitting on my desk. Never gonna open it. And I bought that box for $120, and it was just when no one was really like, there was a lot of it out, and no one was really, like being crazy hyped about it. No one was really talking about the Moonbreon. Um, it was really the talk of the town when the set came out was the Sylveon and the Rayquaza and the Dragonite. Those were the ones that were like, oh my god, I need it. No one was really talking about the Moonbreon. But then all of a sudden, when the set started getting older, people were like, oh my god, the Moonbreon, right? So I decided to keep one of the boxes sealed. Bought it for $120 in my local game shop, and it's been on my desk or close to it ever since. And I decided to get a case for it like 6 months ago. So it's been in there ever since. Super glad it's not getting dust on it anymore. And yeah, I feel like I need to make that kind of home run investment again, because I have a box that I bought for $120 sitting on my desk, and now it's over 900 3 years later. So if I'm not saying that Paldea Evolved has that kind of motion to it, because obviously Evolving Skies is a whole different animal compared to Paldea Evolved, but it can get to maybe a $250 price point, maybe 300 in the future, possibly. I'm not saying that for sure, but it has that potential because the Magikarp is just it's doing phenomenal. It costs $40 more than an entire box, right? Like it's really insane. And I think that a lot of people are going to be pleased with the fact that this set has potential and that this set can get to where it wants to be, which maybe even 200 a box, right? Like that's still drastic improvement from the flip-flopping that it's going on right now. As we can see in the last 3 months, it's been an absolute roller coaster. But I think right now, since Terrestrial Festival is mere hours away from releasing, right? 2 days, 48 hours. I think that a lot of the eyes are going to be on Prismatic and Terastal, and not so much Paldea Evolved, Scarlet and Violet Base, Obsidian Flames, which by the way, Obsidian Flames is on the come up right now. Um, but I think the Paldea Evolved in the long run might perform better than Obsidian Flames, despite the whole Charizard thing. Obviously, everyone knows that Charizard is my favorite Pokemon. It's in my logo. It's like Charizard's been my favorite Pokemon since I was 6, right? I had people always accuse me of being a Charizard fan because, oh my god, it's so popular and the cards are so expensive. Like, that's not really the case at all. I just like Charizard. It's been my favorite Pokemon before I even like knew what market prices were, right? Like, so, um, but yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. I just wanted to make everyone aware that Paldea Evolved does exist, and it's gonna be a sleeper investment for the months to come, years to come. And I bought into it during the whole TCG player Black Friday thing, and I think that now is a great time to buy into it before the prices start getting climbing back up and up and up. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me. Hope you all enjoyed it. I will see you in the next one.